Hi guys, welcome. It's Marcy, otherwise known as the Cranky Crafter. If you're new here, hello. I hope you'll stick around and watch the videos. I have to give a big shout out to Laura over at the Half-Ass Crafter because she mentioned me in her video, which means I'm almost like famous because she is famous. And so I'll be coming soon, I'm sure, guaranteed. But I haven't had a chance to watch her video today yet. But I did get a couple of comments that she sent, she mentioned me on her video. And so a couple of folks have subscribed. So that's totally amazing. Thank you. Thank you for that, Laura. Forever in your debt. Two things before we get started. Yesterday when I finished the video, I realized that I finished it without putting a ribbon on. So there it is with the ribbon. After I got done and I turned it off, I'm like, oh, Marcy, you didn't even put the ribbon on. Okay, other thing. I think yesterday I also mentioned that I had this very aha moment when I was using my Posca pins. You guys, I'm sure you probably already all knew this. I didn't. That these larger ones, you can take the nib out and flip it and it's a different size. I had no idea. I've only bought the larger ones like individually, so I've never had, you know, like a box or anything for them. And maybe in all of this writing, it tells me that it does that, but I can't read any of that writing. And the smaller ones, like the fine lines, they don't do that. And those are the only ones that I'd gotten in packaging. So here I did. Yes, I pulled it out this morning and found out that you can flip it. I don't think that the size is like hugely noticeable as far as difference, but maybe if you're using them for painting or, you know, things that aren't very lackadaisical like I'm using them for, then maybe you can tell a difference. But okay then, so now we know. I don't know that I'll ever switch it, to be honest. It's not like the ones that Laura was showing on her page the other day. What are they called? Ohuhus? Which reminds me of Finding Nemo when they're in the aquarium. I don't know why. But I think those switch from like a different shape. Like you get maybe a broad tip and then you switch it and maybe it's a chisel tip, if I remember. So I could see myself doing that. But I don't know. We'll see. So we're going to make another tag. Day 29 is what we're on. So just a couple more days, like I've said before. The color that she's using, Art by Marlene, for her challenge is actually called Police. I'm going to use this, I don't even know how to say it, Agen Blue. And I think we'll also come in with this Island Blue. That's my plan anyway. My thought is that we'll do some reductive stenciling. I don't even know if that's what you call it, but it's basically where you put the stencil and then you wipe your paint or whatever medium you're working with away, and you can see the color underneath. So I've already gessoed this page with white gesso just to make that type of stenciling a little bit easier. You don't have to do that. It will work even if you don't. I think this just makes it a little bit easier for it to come off and not affect your paper at all. So I think I'm going to go down with the lighter color first, because if my brain is thinking about this properly, when I put down the darker color, then the lighter color is going to show up. So I'm going to use my makeup sponge. I'm going to snip that part off. And I'm going to just get some color down on the paper. Now when you do use the gesso as your first layer, it kind of makes the paint a little bit less opaque, because it kind of makes it thinner, if that makes sense. I like the rounded edges better, so I kind of come in and try to round them a little bit. And I've already got paint. How did I even manage that? On my hand, fingers, whatever. So we're just getting this paint down. You can put it down in any fashion you'd like. You don't have to use this makeup sponge. You could use a baby wipe. You could use a paintbrush. You could use your fingers if you wanted. I've done that before too. Okay, so then we're gonna come in with this. I think we're gonna use kind of squares again. I know. I don't even know who I am anymore. Almost always use circles. We'll try it and see how it goes. So this morning, I had to go over and I'm watching some dogs of my friends. They're out of town, so I'm going over and make sure that they get food and water and playtime. So I went out to the garage to get myself in the car. Okay, so now I'm going to take a wipe and we're just going to kind of go like this. What do we think about that? See, so it brings up, since I put the gesso down, it takes it all the way to the white. Just gives it a little bit of dimension, I think. Yeah, so we'll keep going a little bit, see how much we like. I stepped out into the garage to get on my like garden shoes or whatever, just because I don't need to wear anything fancy over there, and open the garage door. Hello, a mouse came right out of my shoe. Right out of my shoe. No, no thank you. No thank you. Listen, I'm all about being in one with the animals, harmony, all that. But I don't need mice inside my shoes, and I don't really even need them in the garage. So I'm standing in the doorway, and the mouse, little tiny mouse, runs out of my shoe, sees me, and like immediately stops and stares at me, and I'm staring at him, and it's like we're having this conversation without even actually saying any words. And finally I did find my words, and I'm like, dude, listen, I don't really, I don't have any problem with you at all, but I don't want you in my shoes. How about I don't even know that you're in the garage? That would be better. And we're literally having this conversation just staring at each other. And he's just looking at me intently. So I finished, you know, saying what I'm saying. And he takes off, and I look through my shoes again. Not like there's going to be any more mice in there, but I always tend to tip them upside down anyway, because we have black widows here, spiders, and I don't want to put my foot into that. So yeah, so that was a fun start to the day. hopefully I don't have to see that mouse again. Last year, I think it was last year, we actually had to have like pest control come out because we had such a heavy mouse population. I don't know if it's because there was like building going on, and so it was making them run, like try to find new places to stay or what, but it was pretty heavy, so we had to have somebody come out and go into the crawl space and like set up, you know, bait and stuff in there. Like, I don't need them inside my house so that I can hear them chewing. That kind of, no thank you. That's not, I don't want to share my house with you like that. If you're going to be respectful, you can stay down there. But, you know, we're not partiers here, so staying up all night, making noise, chewing on the walls, no, we're not doing that. Okay, what do we need to do now? I kind of had this idea that, oh yeah, here's what I'm gonna do. So I have this big bucket of like odds and ends, shapes and stuff that I use with paints, or you can use them with whatever you want, but it's for mark making essentially. But I found this little foam jobby, and I thought maybe we could add a little bit more with this. But do you think Marcy got out any contrasting color paint? No, because I got my distressed ink out and did not get this out. But what I did notice when I was looking through my bucket, you get a lot of circular items that you can use for mark making. Oops, sorry, move the light. Pill bottles, lids. But coming across square stuff or something remotely close to square doesn't happen that often. At least it hasn't in my journey. Do we want to accent with yellow or orange? This was kind of my, well, let's see. This is why I should have had this planned before all of it. Yellow's fun. But if I do yellow, then I have to maybe stay yellow. I guess I could do orange too. Oh no, I like yellow. Let's do this yellow. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of yellow down, and then sometime I used green apparently. I'm just gonna dip it in there. We're gonna see how well this works, because it's very squishy. I don't know how easy it's gonna be to like get a true image down, since there's no, it's just all squish. I don't know how else to say that. So it's probably, yeah, that's okay. It's just making like partial marks, but that's all right, because it still brings in a little bit of extra color, and we like all the colors. Right? Of course. So yeah, I don't think you could really tell that that was a rectangle sponge, but we're making it up as we go along. Good? Yes, I think that's good. All right, one more for good measure. Now that looks kind of like a circle. It's fine. Leave it alone. Okay. I'm gonna have to get my power tool out a second. Hold, please. Oh, I Did I just mess up the light? Oh boy. I always hit the button twice and then it comes back on again. Okay, so I was thinking initially before I got out my mark making stuff that I would come in with this number stamp. You can't really see it because it doesn't have any ink on it yet. And initially I thought orange or yellow. So maybe these are the swatches. I think I will add some orange because we already put yellow, even though I really like that. So I'm going to go with this carved pumpkin one. And I've got my number stamp. Just going to put some orange on there. These probably won't be like perfect images, but I'm good with that. Doesn't bother me. That's fun. That one's upside down. Are they all upside down? They probably are. It's totally fine. How about one more? Because that'll give us 5. And I like odd numbers better. I keep dipping my head underneath the light. Can you guys see that? This light is not perfect. I understand that, and I apologize. Just go easy on me. I'm new. So that was carved pumpkin that we used. I do have a little bit left on there, but I'm not going to use it. Okay, so I have images laid out and ready to go. This is still a little bit wet. I wonder if you can tell that on the camera. But I've got this lovely lady. Oh, look, I'm glad that I used orange now. And yellow. Okay, got her. And then I thought, well, let's take her off a second. I thought I could kind of put these down all willy-nilly like. Sort of like as a platform or something. And also just because it's cute. And then I got some stars. Because why not? And, wait for it. This is the finale. Because she's sunbathing, or she's at least out in the sun, maybe. Or maybe she's just walking around the house in her bathing suit, because that's fine too. But I thought we could put sunglasses, if I can get them on. Like that. Come on. That's too cute. All right. Now you take everything off and pretend that it's going to go back exactly how you had it, with the understanding that it won't, because it never does. I've even taken pictures of it in the past to help me. Yeah, still didn't. But that's just part of it. Okay, what do I need now? Glue. Let's see how my glue works for me today, because it's usually quite persnickety. Let's start with the circles. I was, oh, for the love of Pete. Here. I'm going to put this in and see if maybe it's just kind of clogged. You guys, this glue and I, we are not good friends. In fact, I don't even know if we're friends at all right now. it's up for debate. When I was driving out to feed the animals, there was a train next to me, and I was admiring all of the graffiti. Probably not supposed to admire that, right? I mean, no, I can admire it if I want to. Nobody can tell me what to do. But I'm sure that they probably don't necessarily appreciate having that all over the trains. Regardless, I think it's pretty. And the artists that do that are very talented. But it made me think about this funny revelation that I had one day talking to my mom. Oh, well, okay, those are there. I was going to try to move them a little bit, but nope. I'm going to put her sunglasses on first. At least that's what we're attempting to do. They even have little eyelashes on them. Okay. So one time, my ma and I were out driving somewhere. I couldn't even tell you when this was. We were back home. I'm not originally from Washington State, which is where I reside right now. But I grew up in Illinois. So we were back home. I was younger. And we were driving out running errands or whatever. And going like near this viaduct. Overpass? What's the difference between a viaduct and an overpass? Are there any city planners out there that can tell me? I've always called it a viaduct, but maybe you're going to call it something. Maybe you're calling it an overpass. I'm just going to trim this a little bit to get some of the cut out parts off, so that looks more pointy. And we're driving under this viaduct, and I was pointing out to her all of the graffiti under there and how cool it was, how bright and colorful, and you know, all that kind of stuff. And whoa. And she says, "Oh yeah." She said, that's how you got your name." And I kind of just looked at her and I'm like, blink, blink. Huh? And she said, "Yeah, that's how you got your name. I saw it on a viaduct." What? You saw my name on a viaduct? Yeah. She's like, "It was spelled different, but I liked it. And so that's what we chose." Ma, what were you doing spending enough time underneath the viaduct so that you could actually see that and read it? I mean, you know, because generally you're just like driving through. You're not like spending time there, and but who the heck knows? Maybe she was. And so there we have it. Marcy was named after a viaduct. But apparently the viaduct was spelt I-E, and I am not I-E, I'm E-E. So there you have it. I'm going to put this little bit right there. Oh, it needs more glue. So I like to cut my edges off because I think it looks fun, looking like it's coming off the page. You don't have to do that. You can actually leave it there if you want it there. Or cut it and not use it. I try to use them, but I don't always use them in the same project. Sometimes I'll just save them for the next time around. All right. What are we thinking about that? So Now, I'm going to take a drink of my water. And get my paint pens. Most of mine are Posca, but yours don't have to be that. They make all kinds of different ones. Did I hit you guys again? Jeez, kind of aggressive today. I like to come in and embellish the cutouts because I think it makes them look very bright and happy, even more so than they already do. Most all of Art by Marlene stuff is super bright and fun already, and that's who these little cutouts are from. Art by Marlene. I think for the challenge you're supposed to try to use most of her supplies. I'm not following the challenge fully. Like, I can't post on her page because I don't have her paints. But I thought I would still just kind of try to use the stuff that I have of hers. Polka dots on the sunglasses? Why not? The first day that I went over to my friend's house to help with the animals, she had said to me, make sure you go into the garage fridge and grab all the extra produce that's in there, because I didn't plan well and there's going to be, you know, it will go bad while we're gone on our vacation. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I love a good vegetable and fruit. So I stuck my head in the fridge thinking there's going to be, you know, maybe like a little bit of lettuce, maybe some berries or something, you know, things that you know for sure are going to go bad when you leave. No, well, there was that. In fact, there was like 3 heads of lettuce and a huge package of mushrooms and a big bag of Brussels sprouts. And I mean, there was like loads of produce in the fridge. So I was kind of doing like a happy dance, because I am very much a fruit and veggie gal. I'm not as much into like meat and stuff. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do it. I'll take it. I'll figure something else out, you know, to use with this stuff. So the first night, my husband and I made, there were like these, you know, those bagged salads. I think there was 8 bags. And I was just laughing because I'm like, there's 2 of you. How are you eating all of this much lettuce? I couldn't even wrap my head around it. But the first night we had one of those, we split it, and I put tofu on the top of mine. I had prepared some tofu. I think he had chicken. But yesterday, I opened up the mushrooms. Ironically enough, I had just gone to the store that morning and got my own mushrooms, but now I have twice the amount. But I got out the big container, and made vegan cream and mushroom soup. It's very good if you like that kind of stuff. But the base is, there's no dairy in it. My middle kid has a dairy allergy, so whenever I can, I try to make meals that don't contain dairy so that she can have it as well. But the base of it is cashews. So you kind of soak your cashews. I need green. In boiling water, and it, you know, softens them. You end up blending some of the soup and then putting it back in with the rest. Now, it is very mushroom heavy, so if you're not a fan of mushrooms, you wouldn't like this. Hence the reason that my husband wouldn't eat it. I don't care. That's more for me. More for moi. But it is yummy. So I made that and put it over some protein pasta and roasted some broccoli, which was also in her refrigerator. Like 4 or 5 crowns of broccoli plus a bag of already cut up broccoli. I didn't make all of that last night, but it will all get eaten. Do you think this is a tattoo or like a garter belt? I could go either way, but I'm going to go with tattoo. I think that's fun. I think if I get another tattoo, I would probably go with floral myself. I don't know if I'll do it though. Only have one little bitty one right now. Okay, I might as well go all the way and do blue for her necklace instead of white. And as you'll notice, I do not do this with any kind of perfection. And that's okay, it doesn't have to be. This girl is stylish at the beach or wherever she's spending her time. Toes. She needs toe polish, toenail polish. 5. Did we get 5 toes? I don't know. I haven't been outside to plant my sunflowers yet. It was still quite chilly, so I thought I'd come in here and do this while it warms up. We've made it to 51 outside. What else do we need on here? I think instead of my norm of freckles, I'm just gonna add a little bit of dots for her rosy cheeks. I almost always do freckles because I like them. I have freckles. Oh, maybe we'll make her little shoulders a little pink. Oh, come on. These pens are kind of like the glue. We have a very tumultuous relationship. It looks like she's got a little bit of sun. Huh. She's fun. Okay. We need our quote. And the one I'm using today is actually a sticker. And it's a clear sticker at that. So hopefully if I can get it off. I'm going to actually put it on a piece of white paper so I can see it a little bit better. As opposed to just putting it right on, because I want it to stand out. And then I'll just cut around it. Doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, I might have to break it up. It depends on where I put it and how it fits on the tag. Oh, there. Of course I'm an organ donor. Who wouldn't want a piece of this? Oh boy. No, yeah, see, I think I need to... I think I'm going to have to separate it a little bit. I think I'm going to separate it even more. This can be the tricky part sometimes because, especially if they're longer quotes like this, you don't, especially, and then they're on like a tag, which is a smaller surface area. Yeah. I think I can do that because I don't really want it way up here. I guess I could. Nope, not like that. All right, we'll figure it out. But I have to get some string first. Let's see. Do we want one of these colors? This one? This. Oh, that's kind of pretty, isn't it? Let's go with that. This is a mess. That's what it is. It's sari silk. Sometimes I use yarn, but either way, I like to have some kind of string because I think it adds a nice texture to your page. You don't have to. I just like it. And then I pick some of it up. Where did we think we were going to put that? Like right here? Yes. Of course I'm an organ donor. Who wouldn't want a piece of this? Oh boy. Right on, sister. Right on. And it already had orange splatters from some other completely different project, but it happens to match. And then I will come in with my Stabilo All just to outline, and sometimes mark completely on top of that, apparently. You could outline in whatever color you want. If you wanted, you could do white. I know they make these pencils in white. In fact, I think they make these pencils in lots of different colors. Or you could just use, you know, a Posca pen or another paint pen. Possibilities are endless. And I kind of will smudge it a little bit. What do we think about that? I think we need some black something. I do think so. How about just some little dots? Sometimes I feel like even when you use contrasting colors, which we did, I think sometimes it still just needs something to center with. So black, or like if you had all darker background, I would probably use white. That still needs more. Sometimes I'll use, you know, a different like color if it works well with the project. Okay, that's good. Now we need a ribbon for the top. Blue? I don't think I have a blue. Oh, wait. That doesn't go, does it? Well, that might be what we're getting. I should have brought my other regular ribbons over. So this is sari ribbon. Recycled saris that they just cut up. I really like it. And I like that they're being able to repurpose something instead of just throwing it in the landfill. There we go. Yes, she's off for a great day. I can tell. Right. See you next time.